Once again, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Almasa. I'm a young professional from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I would like to welcome you today on the behalf of the Western Balkans Junior Water Professionals. We would like to thank the Utility of the Future Center of Excellence for organizing today's event, as well as the Global Water Sanitation Partnership, as well as the Swiss Confederation and the State Secretariat for Economic Affairs, as well as Suez and the World Bank Group for their support. Also, a big thank you to IOED for providing us with the platform and their support while organizing this event. Together with my colleagues and fellow members of the Western Balkans Junior Water Professionals, over the past couple of months, we had the opportunity to conduct a research and answer the question, what young professionals really think about careers in water, and is it really worth the drop? So we'll use today's opportunity to present some of the research results and the key findings, as well as discuss potential future steps and ways to support young professionals in the Western Balkans. So without further ado, I will now give the floor to our colleague Nikola. Nikola is a young professional from Serbia, and he will talk you through a little bit more details about the research we conducted and some of the main results we have.
Thank you, Almasa. At the beginning, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nikola Stevanovic. I come from Belgrade, Serbia. I have a background in civil engineering, specifically in hydraulic engineering. And after that, I went to do my master studies at IHE Delft in the Netherlands, where my focus was on flood risk management. As Almasa already explained, during a couple of months, we actually conducted a survey with a focus on young water professionals from 6 Western Balkan countries. We gathered 78 responses. 58 of them were actually both educated in the field of water and working in the water sector, while 20 of them were educated in the field of water, but are for different reasons working in other sectors. As can be seen here, 2/3 of people who were asked to fill in the survey were women. Nearly half were aged between 30 and 35, which can present a shift, let's say, towards the upper part of this young water professional distribution. And on the right-hand side, we can see the distribution among 6 Western Balkan countries. We can go to the next slide. Yep. On this slide, we can see the overall organization of the webinar. At the beginning, we will start with the presentation of the results from water young professionals. Then we will also present the results from as I have already said, non-water young professionals. However, the data itself does not present anything without seeing what does it actually mean. So we will present key findings and insights based on these surveys. Then we will go to the breakout rooms where we will try to come up with different short, mid, and long-term actions to, let's say, overcome the challenges that we'll be presenting during the previous phase. Then when we return to the main room, we will present recommendations and call to action based on the survey. So not on the discussion from the breakout rooms, but just what are the possible actions that can be actually done in order to try to improve the situation in the sector. And last but not least, we'll present one, let's say, a good example from practice, which is this Utility of the Future Center of Excellence from the World Bank, which actually gathered 6 of us in this program. Now I will start with the water young professionals part. So why did people actually join the sector? Before we can talk about challenges, it's important to understand what actually brought young professionals into the water sector in the first place. The survey itself sends a very clear message. Most young professionals chose this field because they actually wanted to make a meaningful contribution to the sector. They were motivated by the opportunity to protect water resources, to improve communities, and to address environmental challenges. This is encouraging because it shows that the sector continues to attract people with a strong sense of purpose rather than actually payment. At the same time, it also creates a responsibility for employers and institutions, so to both of them. If young professionals enter the sector with high expectations to make a difference, it is the sector who needs to provide an environment whether they can actually do that, and to give them some kind of a platform to be able to express their contribution and their willingness to help the sector. At the beginning, I would like just to emphasize one thing. The motivation to enter the sector pretty much differs from the motivation to stay in the sector. And throughout all this webinar, we will differentiate these things a lot. So when we ask respondents about their main motivation to join the sector, two factors actually stood out. First, many were driven by a genuine interest in engineering and technical problem solving. It's common sense that water in general is pretty much technical field. Second, they wanted to create a positive both social and environmental impact. Also, job stability and pension benefits were also mentioned during the survey, but they were secondary. Salary, for some maybe surprisingly, for people who know what are the salaries in water sector, it is definitely not surprisingly. The salary itself was one of least important reasons for entering the sector. What does this tell us? This tells us that young professionals are not primarily motivated by financial rewards, as I have already said. They are motivated by purpose, by a meaningful contribution.
Hello, excuse me to intervene, but there is no Albanian translation. The guy, I think, is muted. Can somebody tell him to unmute somehow?
Yes,
Yes.
I noticed also.
Is everything fine now?
Yes.
So can I continue?
Okay, yeni profesi? Oh. Okay, so please, I think Tanya must have muted you, so we should leave it like this. Please don't mute anyone. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So as I have said, salary, as expected for people who are for some time in the sector, was one of the least important reasons for entering the sector. What this tells us, it actually tells us that young professionals are not primarily motivated by financial rewards. Instead, they are motivated by the purpose of the sector and the chance to contribute. However, as I already explained, the motivation to join the sector is not the same as the motivation to remain in the sector. So if the working environment does not meet the expectations of young water professionals in the sector, it may happen that even highly devoted and committed professionals may eventually look elsewhere. How did young professionals, get their job? This slide highlights one of the most important findings of the survey. The most common pathway into the water sector was through personal contacts and networking, accounting for 33% or 1/3 of all responses. Public job announcements were a bit less mentioned during the survey, accounting for 29% of the survey results. What is particularly striking is that formal entry pathways were much less significant. As we can see, only 10% entered through either internships or volunteering, and just 5% of young water professionals entered the universities through academic projects or scholarship or any other formal way of entering the sector. In other words, structured mechanisms that should help young professionals to transition from let's say education to real work are currently playing a very limited role. This suggests that access often depends more on who you know than what you actually know to do. And that can create a lot of barriers for many talented young professionals who in that way cannot find the best fit for their let's say education and their personality and everything else that they can offer to the sector. When participants were asked how do they feel about their jobs, as we can see, the picture is moderately positive. Around 2/3 or 62% of young water professionals say that they are either satisfied or very satisfied with their jobs, which tells us that there is still strong motivation and commitment in the sector. However, at the same time, we can see that nearly 1/3 of participants is neutral about feeling about the job, and also additional 7% are dissatisfied. These people, so these around 40% of people are, let's say it that way, are sitting on the fence and deciding whether they are going to pursue their career further in the water sector or they will maybe change their mind. Again, when they were asked will they stay in the sector, we can see that the percentage of people who answer to this question pretty much resembles the percentage of people who were asked the previous question, which was how do they feel about their job. The majority of respondents said that they are likely to stay in the water sector, either likely or very likely, which means that about 65% of them would be encouraged to stay in the sector in the coming years. However, what stands out is that many people are either uncertain or unlikely or very unlikely to stay in the sector. Those 26% who are still undecided, let's say, are very extremely important to the sector because their future depends on whether the sector can offer better opportunities, can offer a stronger support or clearer career paths or not. And the decision is yet to be made. This means that the retention is still open to influence primarily from the side of the employer. Young professionals are definitely not fully lost to the sector, but they are definitely waiting to see whether conditions will improve or not. When we asked respondents what would encourage young professionals to remain in the sector. Salary and benefits came out as the strongest factor, as expected, and they were mentioned by 64% of respondents. However, the message goes beyond pay. Young professionals also want to be exposed to learning opportunities, to, as I have said, clearer career pathways and the progression, also more recognition inside the sector, and also flexibility in how they work. When I say flexibility, I mean that people nowadays want their sector to be let's say modernized, and that it follows trends with mobility, with hybrid work, and all other sorts of work that are actually offered in different fields as well. Formal programs like sorry, it disappeared. Yeah. So also what they wanted is access to regional and international exchanges. They wanted mobility, and formal mentorship and coaching programs were also mentioned. However, not in that high percentage. People were also asked if they have professional development paths. One positive finding is that most are actively developing their skills. And as we can see, approximately 72% participated in some form or of either training or professional development. However, most of this learning happens through events or informal on-the-job experience rather than through structured career pathways. So we can see a clear pattern that we are lacking structural development of young water professionals who would like to stay in the sector, but would like to have more opportunities to earn money, to learn, and to expose themselves to, let's say, different traineeships and similar things abroad. So the challenge is not a lack of motivation to learn. Young professionals clearly want to improve their skills. However, the challenge is building more systematic and accessible development opportunities across the sector. Now, I would like to say what were the biggest barriers in the current job according to the people who filled in the survey. The barriers identified by young water professionals are remarkably consistent across countries and institutions. This can be both a good and bad thing. The good thing is that actually we are all facing similar or same problems. But the bad thing is that actually this problem is definitely something that is not just on the surface, because if it was, there would be at least one country or one group of institutions that was able to solve the problem already. The biggest issue is, as we have mentioned many times, low salary and poor financial conditions, followed closely by lack of recognition, also exclusion from decision making, because young people want their voice to be heard. Also, young professionals also point to limited training opportunities, bureaucracy, outdated systems, weak leadership structures, etc. What is important here is that these are not just isolated complaints. They reflect systematic challenges across the region and across institutions. That's actually useful because it means that solutions to this problem can also be shared, which would be improving inclusion, investing in young people, modernizing institutions, and creating clearer career pathways for the generation that is yet to come to the sector.
Thank you, Nicola. Now I will shift the focus to another important group as a part of this research, which is the non-water young professionals, or the young professionals who are currently not part of the water sector. To complement the previous findings, we wanted to explore how young professionals who are outside of the water sector, or the outsiders, perceive the water sector and how attractive is the water sector to them. Half of the participants outside the sector have considered making the move, and their reasons reveal exactly what the sector does well, which is the purpose, relevance, and the real-world impact. When asked what would actually attract them to make the move and join the water sector, several of them emphasized the ability to influence public health and have a social impact. Also, the fact that the water sector is related to environmental protection and sustainability, but also the potential for innovation and new technologies. Some of them would actually join out of curiosity or a desire to do something different, as well as the relevance to their field of study or work. What is interesting is that those young professionals who considered joining the water sector were drawn by mission, relevance, and impact, which are the same reasons why the young professionals who are already a part of the sector have joined in the first place. And this suggests that the sector's image is definitely consistent, but what is inconsistent is the follow-through and the ability to create conditions where this initial interest can be turned into a long-term career choice. How exactly attractive is the water sector to the young professionals outside of it? The participants were asked to rate the attractiveness of the water sector on a scale of 1 to 10, and more than half of them rated the sector as highly attractive, with a score of 7.25 out of 10. On top of that, the young professionals have realistic salary expectations. As Nicola already mentioned, salary was not their top choice when it comes to the reason for joining the water sector. And in this case, 85% of them accept €1,500 or less when it comes to the salary, which is definitely modest, also considering the average salary when it comes to entry-level engineering positions in public water utilities in the Western Balkans. Even though the sector was rated as a highly attractive sector, and even though the salary expectations are so modest, none of the participants, or 0 out of 20 participants, have applied for job roles in the water sector in the last 12 months. Only one respondent noted that they haven't applied yet, but they were thinking about it. And this just shows that it is not a demand problem. This is a visibility and access problem. And the pipeline definitely exists. It just doesn't have entry points for young people in the Western Balkans. And what would actually make the sector more attractive? The outsiders want the same things that the insiders are already asking for, which is good because it tells us exactly where to focus. But it's important to know that the outsiders want to make an impact, but not at the cost of their financial well-being. And delivering on the salary is actually what would close the gap. So based on the results of this research, we can determine that the sector's image definitely reflects the reality, and you don't have to be a part of the water sector to know its reputation, especially because the outsiders are naming the same barriers that the insiders live every day. And when it comes to the main barriers, there are 3 of them that dominate, which is the low paid, no growth, and poor conditions. And these are not just perceptions, these are facts that are confirmed by insiders, and there's no way of rebranding out of this, and only structural changes can shift this narrative about the water sector. Now that we have heard about both perspectives from inside the sector but also outside of it, we can move to the key findings and insights of this research. Although we identified 7 different findings, they all point to one clear message, and it's the fact that the sector is losing the talent race. When it comes to the number one key finding is the fact that the salary gap is the number one issue. Compensation is the single most repeated concern, and the water sector salaries simply cannot compete with other sectors such as IT or energy, and everybody knows that. The sector seems to attract on mission and lose on condition, which is the second problem, where young professionals join because they care about the water and the environment, but they think about leaving or leave because the workplace doesn't care about them enough. The third finding is directly related to the previous one because the career paths are invisible. Most young professionals cannot name their next role or what it takes to get there, and learning in isolation is the norm and not the exception. And the fourth one is the fact that it's still about who you know. So 33% of young professionals who are a part of the water sector got their jobs through personal connections, which suggests that if you are a young professional in the Western Balkans and you don't know somebody who knows somebody, it's very likely that your talent will stay on the outside. When it comes to the fifth finding, the sector looks stuck in the past with outdated software, with resistance to change and lack of digital tools. The water sector's innovation is the recruitment liability. The sixth finding is that the young voices are shut out and they are told to wait for their turn. By the time young professionals get a seat at the table, it's most likely that they are not young professionals anymore or have already left their positions. And the seventh and the final finding is that international exposure is wanted but rarely offered. Regional exchanges and international rank among the top retention levers and remain at least available. So how can water utilities and institutions help address these 7 gaps? Today is especially valuable because we have people from different perspectives. We have representatives from different institutions, but also young professionals and experts from utilities in different parts of the water sector. So after we already outlined the 7 gaps, we want to work together on addressing them. And this is a part of the webinar where we want to split into different breakout rooms based on local languages and discuss possible actions and next steps in order to support young professionals in the Western Balkans. I will explain a little bit about the logistics and the ways you can enter a specific breakout room. In a few seconds, you will see a pop-up window on your screen that says join a breakout room at the bottom right part of your screen. And by clicking on there, you can choose a specific breakout room you want to join. Each one of them will be facilitated by one of the young professionals, and we will have the first breakout room in English language facilitated by Nicola, the second one in Albanian language facilitated by Xena and Chedresa, the third one in Bosnian, Serbian, and Montenegrin facilitated by Masha and myself, and the fourth one in Macedonian facilitated by Tanya. If you didn't see the pop-up window on your screen, you can also join a breakout room manually by again at the bottom right part of your screen. You can click the option more and choose breakout room you want to join by clicking the blue button that says join. We will give you a few seconds to do that, and then we will keep having this discussion in the breakout rooms.
Welcome back, everyone. Can you hear me? Before we proceed with the recommendation and call to action, I would just like to ask the hosts of the room just to briefly say what are the actions that were discussed in the room. Almasa, can you start, please?
Yes, I can. We actually had 2 participants in our breakout room, but nonetheless, it was really fruitful. And we already came back to the similar conclusions as we had previously, that the salary is the #1 problem, and any action towards increasing the salary can stimulate young people to work in the water sector. But also, we came to the conclusion that there's more action needed from young people to show interest in order to have international exposure and to have different opportunities in order to join the water sector. We also mentioned some of the key good examples in Bosnia and Herzegovina, such as the MEG project or the Water Academy, and similar experiences for young people in the region can be used in order to stimulate young people to join the water sector. And that would basically be the summary of our discussion.
Sorry to interrupt you. I would just like to repeat that I don't know, honestly, if it's working or not, but if the interpretation is not working now when we return to the main room, you can select it again with 3 dots at the more sign and then go to the interpretation button and then choose the preferred language. I hope that it already works, but just to mention in case it doesn't. Almasa, thank you. Tanya, can you please briefly just say what were you discussing in the breakout room?
Yes, thank you, Nicola. In my room, I had experienced a person from utility, and we discussed about the years, how many situations they had faced with the young people, how they were joining for a few months and they left the job, and for them even any basic job in Europe is more how to say attractive than water sector, and the reason is of course the salary gap. That we should have a systematic approach of the work, and how we can do that. We believe that if we include young people in the projects and ask them a personal approach for the work-life balance, maybe individual approach, then maybe we can have more people, we can attract people, and we should be informed about water-related partnership organization who can give access to the project calls ongoing when they will be, so all the young people can have chance to participate of this, and then they can have additional their work in their field in the water sector. This is for the people who are employed, and for those who are not employed, then we should make some special program to attract them, maybe specific training programs, because we there is not only that we need leadership culture, or that we need transparent in promotion. We also need ground skilled workers, and they need to gain skills. Even though they want to work in the water sector, let's say, sometimes they have experience gap, and this barrier, because they don't have experience, they cannot provide experience because they are applying for the first job, then definitely we need some kind of training center for the young people where they can gain skills, and then they can be competitive. Also, some people want to work in some people want to work with modern equipment, want to be certificate for this equipment, and this makes the water sector attractive place for work. And it's good if we give to these people also, if we provide validated certificates that they have some additional skills what others don't have, and participate in international conference fairs in the sector is also something which is very attractive for the young people, and I believe that it can be more implemented. And for the long-term goals, like structural changes, what we can do. Aside of a training center, we should have individual approach. And as you said in your presentation, for head hunters, if we want IT people, then we should know the way how to attract them, even if it's join between two companies in water sector to share some expert or who can work on modernize on the equipment and way of working in the utility example. And also we should recognize the people before they are on burnout situation. Sometimes we have talents who actually didn't see any kind of promotion. They think that only one level is forever in their life, leave it or accept it. So we should find a way for these burnout talents to hold there. And for this, of course, we need leadership culture of the management. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tanya. I also want to say that all the things that we are actually talking here will be included in the report that Almasa and I are preparing, which will come after this survey. The report is already written, but of course it will be updated and upgraded with the insights that are gathered during this webinar. Also, once more, I would like to highlight, I think that some of my colleagues already shared that in chat, that Young Water Professionals blog is still ongoing, and there is still a possibility to fill in the survey. Of course, as every other survey, this works in a way, the more the merrier. So if we have more responses, then the quality of the survey will be better. Tanya, thank you again. Ksenia or Cendresa, can you please let us know what was the discussion about in the Albanian breakout room?
So firstly, we discussed about how difficult it is to secure that first position. And of course, not only in Albania, but as we discussed, this going with who you know and using your contacts to secure a position in the sector is something that happens not only in our respective countries, but also worldwide. So it's difficult to secure that first position. It's important to create initial experiences as you go, and even though it seems like difficult to foresee the career path and where you want to achieve, you should go step by step and the path will start laying ahead. Also, soft skills are important to find your space in the sector. That's what we concluded. And also, we discussed about the high competitiveness in the sector and the difficulty to find a place and to stay in the sector because there are not many opportunities sometimes and there is a high competitiveness. But for this, Agim suggested that we should always rely on people who are seniors and who could offer the help and somehow offer mentoring, which is also promoted by the World Bank through its mentoring program that was given to us. So other than this, we also discussed about the difficulty of the recruitment process, which is also related to having contacts. For this, I would suggest some short-term, mid-term, and long-term concrete actions. For short-term, I would suggest increased transparency in recruitment through open calls. And mid-term action would be implement digital recruitment systems and promote networking so that more people are aware of the job opportunities that are opening in the sector. And another long-term suggested to find an opportunity and not be only reliant on who you know is create different technical skills requirements to secure a position, and also maybe provide a testing or a certification-based recruitment process so that you could find the position. Especially technical and hard positions should require some testing to prove competency in these professional positions. And other than this, the challenge number 6, which was young voices being shut out and the difficulty to participate in important sectors and important areas, decision-making areas, I would suggest some short-term and also medium and long-term actions. Starting with short-term, include young professionals in informative meetings and maybe pilot projects as well. Mid-term actions would be to support participation of young professionals in conferences, give young professionals and young engineers leadership roles, maybe in digitalization or innovation projects, which I think the young workforce can help because the times are changing. We need to go from traditional culture, working culture, and the way of seeing things. We need to modernize and go towards digitalization. And I think the young workforce obtaining these new skills related to digitalization could help in these specific projects. And also a long-term action related to involving young professionals in decision-making would be involve them in activity shaping the sector strategy and reforms. So this would be a governmental participation which leads to reforming the whole sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ksenia. I would just like to add one thing. The blog that I mentioned previously actually has three separate parts, let's say, that's aiming at either water professionals, non-water professionals, but also it's aiming at utilities. And also in this third part within utilities, there is also a room for the other side of the table, so to the employers, to give their opinion on the situation. And we also want to hear their voice because otherwise just one-sided it cannot be solved. Also, I would like to say that the survey itself on the blog, you will find the link for that, is open to all countries, so not just Western Balkans, because what we came up with is that actually majority of countries actually share challenges, so also solutions can be shared as well. For the English room, I will present the outcomes. Actually, the English room was pretty diverse because we had representatives for actually 4 continents. So also the let's say point of view was broad. Regarding the short-term actions, we came up with one idea that is something that is similar. We all know about Josh Water Jobs platform, let's say. We can actually make something similar to that with a focus on Western Balkans, because we assume that not many utilities and in general public companies are sharing the advertisements on the Josh Water Jobs. Also, we can also launch a Western Balkans mentoring program, which would pair young professionals with experienced experts from utilities, academia, and consulting firms. And these two things can actually be done in a pretty, let's say, short period of time. Regarding the midterm actions, we had one good, let's say, recommendation from Abu Dhabi to make some kind of formal advertising of the water sector in other related fields like mechanical, electrical, and all the other fields that are actually dealing in water or can be dealing in water in a certain moment, but are not let's say linked with water when you first think of them. Also, we can try to advocate to introduce a compulsory some kind of let's say credit bearing mentorship and internship of at least 1 month or 2 months in all civil, environmental, and other engineering programs, which would be given certain ECTS to and thus would be made mandatory. Also, regarding the long-term actions, there actually were they were actually the most discussed thing in our room. Also, what can be done in long term, we can create regional centers of excellence for water research and innovations, jointly led by universities, utilities, industry, so all parts of the water sector. We should also aim at creating a social campaign, starting from schools, then to university, etc., to express the importance of the sector, and in that way to make it more appealing. We should also one participant now from Ghana, she told us that it would be nice to develop some kind of a water talented network to support long-term career development, to share experiences, to share points of view, and in that way to try to solve the issue that we are actually all sharing. I think that by English breakout room, we've actually covered everything. So we will now continue for a couple of more minutes with the presentation. I will now present what were the 7 actions and recommendations, each one aiming at one challenge that Almasa was talking about before the breakout room. So just give me a moment. So first of all, talking about the fixing the wage gap based on the findings, the sector needs to address this question. Competitive salaries are pretty essential if we want to attract and retain skilled young professionals. Second, there is a strong need for clearer career pathways. Young people do want to understand how they can grow, how they can progress, how they can move into leadership roles when the time comes. Third, structured mentorship can play a major role. Pairing junior professionals with experienced mentors can actually help a lot, and in a way that it can be a platform for transfer of knowledge, and it can also create stronger professional support systems, to say it like that. Also, expanding traineeships and regional exchanges can give young professionals more practical experience and stronger connections across both the Western Balkans, but also more broadly. Another important area is also modernization. Many young professionals feel that there is a strong limitation by outdated systems and tools. All of us know or have heard of a situation where they don't have a license for GIS or something like that, or I don't know, HECRAS, IPANET, or whatever else. So investing in digital skills and modern software is essential for both motivation and efficiency, and we have to advocate that actually investing for licenses for softwares is not, let's say, expense for the company, for the firm, but it's actually a tool where people can actually earn money for these companies. Also, we need more transparent and accessible hiring processes. Young people should feel that opportunities are open, that are visible, and most importantly, that they are based on merit. So stronger cooperation with universities can also help build a clearer talent pipeline into the sector. And finally, last but not least, young professionals definitely want a voice. They do not want to just simply observe decision making from the end of the table. They want to contribute to it. Of course, that they cannot be in some executive position at the beginning, but they definitely want to be heard. including young professionals in planning, in technical discussions, definitely, and sector forums can strengthen both institutions and future leadership, and including young people in decision making and in general in business should not be seen just as a waste of time and money, because of course no one can be a good engineer or any other water related field without like lifelong learning. So we have to let's say we have to make the trade-off between the money and the development of future experts. Can you change the slide, please? Thank you. So the key message from this research is simple. The challenges are pretty much clear, and so are many solutions. But no single institution can solve this alone. Utilities, governments, universities, different professional associations, and all development partners all have a role to play in this battle. Young professionals across the Western Balkans are definitely motivated and willing to contribute. The question is just whether the sector can create the conditions and the platform that allow them to stay, to grow, and to lead in future. So moving forward, the real challenge is not identifying the problem anymore. It's already identified. It's deciding who takes the first step toward change.
Thank you, Nicola. While we mentioned some of the challenges and possible solutions, we would like to use this opportunity to share some of the steps that are already being taken towards supporting young professionals in the Western Balkans. In this case, the World Bank steps towards closing the gaps. And in this case, we would like to mention one of the initiatives called the Utility of the Future Center of Excellence. The Utility of the Future Center of Excellence supports the transformation process of water and sanitation utilities, and it is led by the World Bank in partnership with the Swiss State Secretariat for Economic Affairs. The initiative combines global knowledge, innovation, and practical solutions, and operates in Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Serbia, and works with 30 water and sanitation utilities. The goal is to improve performance and accelerate universal access through coordinated hands-on support, capacity building, training, and strategic development. We have heard about a lot of data today, and we know that data without action is just diagnosis. So what exactly is the Center of Excellence doing for young professionals in the Western Balkans? There are three key objectives, and it is to strengthen skills and career pathways in sector engagement, to build a new generation of water professionals, and attract and retain new talents in the sector. There are three components, and the first one is the Young Professionals Network, a global community connecting young leaders in the water sector through networking and peer-led knowledge sharing. The second component is the Innovation Challenges for Young Professionals, which are open competitions that engage young people to develop innovative solutions for water and sanitation challenges. And the third component is the First Work Experience Program, which is a mentorship and training program that provides hands-on first job experience to young professionals entering the water sector. This program was actually the program that made us a part of the whole story. This was the team of 6 young professionals during the year of 2025 and 2026, which are the people you had the opportunity to talk to while discussing in the breakout rooms. We are 6 young professionals, one from each country of the Western Balkans, that were engaged in this program in order to support it and to work with water utilities under the coordination and the partnership with SUEZ. The only eligible criteria for us to join the program was to be recent graduates with no prior experience required, which is definitely a unique opportunity when it comes to the Western Balkans, but probably the whole world. And what is important to note is that this program doesn't end here. There will be a new team of young professionals joining for 2026 and 2027. There are three pillars to this program, and we were a part of the pilot version. But the main goals are to gain experience, to have real utility placements, to deal with real challenges such as non-revenue water, energy efficiency, digital systems, or business planning. The second pillar is the knowledge gaining, with tailored learning pathways aligned with each participant's interests, with technical training, different workshops, and sector exposure, where a first job becomes a structured learning journey and not just a trial. And the third pillar is the mentorship, where water specialists provide continuous coaching, feedback, and career guidance to the young people. So how the first work experience program directly closes the gaps and the challenges we have already mentioned. The first challenge was the fact that the salary gap is the number one issue. In this case, the participants receive compensation during the program, and that removes the unpaid internship barrier. The second one, where the sector attracts on mission but loses on condition. In this case, there's a structured condition with mentoring, learning, and real work that matches the mission with professional support. The third one is that career pathways are usually invisible, but in this case, there's tailored learning pathways and mentorship that give each participant a visible trajectory from day one. The fourth finding was that it's still about who you know and personal connections when finding your first working experience, but in this case, selection was based on graduation only. There was no networks, no contacts, and no prior experience required. The fifth problem is usually that sector looks stuck in the past, but in this case, participants of the program deal with digital integration, energy efficiency, and non-revenue water reduction, which are the real innovation challenges. The sixth problem was that the young voices are usually shut out. In this case, the participants contribute to real utility decisions and not just support roles. And the seventh one was that international exposure is usually wanted but rarely offered. In this case, the program includes cross-country exposure and the World Bank network access. So everything that we have shared today, as well as this program, is a proof of concept and not a finished product. This is a proof that the model works and that now it needs to scale. So this is a message to utilities, governments, universities, and development partners across the region that you can also replicate this model. And this is an invitation to create opportunities for young people that remove experience requirements for entry-level positions, to pair participants with senior mentors from day one, to assign real work and not just observation or administrative support, to build a tailored learning pathway alongside the placement, and to connect participants to a regional network of peers. And everything that was shared today also points to one clear message, and it's the fact that the sector's future definitely depends on the professional it cultivates today. And investing in first job is not charity, it is the most strategic thing that the water sector can do right now. We truly hope that everything we talked about will not remain only in conversation and will be followed by action. I would like to use this opportunity to also thank to Federico and Nicola for their contributions while developing the survey and the report and the results of the research we shared today, but also to other young professionals who are a part of this team. Feel free to connect with us and know that we will definitely do what's on our end when it comes to the action. And I would like to highlight again that the program that we were a part of doesn't stop here. It will welcome 6 new young professionals during the next year. And also to remind you that there is a link in the chat that will lead you to the World Bank's water blog, where you can read more about our experience. But also at the end of the page, you will find a survey that is aimed at water professionals, but also not water professionals and people who are already working in the water utilities. And that survey is meant for the whole world. There's no restriction. So please feel free to put your inputs in there, and we are always welcoming your feedback. In that case, if there are no additional comments or questions, we will wrap it up here, and thank you for being a part of this webinar.
Yes, sorry, there is a question from Eldin in the chat. Yeah, sure. Sure, we can talk about that.
Please just read the question out loud.
Yes, sure. Eldin Suragis, he asked, would we as young water professionals be interested in working in a small water utility, approximately 10,000 customers, to establish a SCADA room The focus would be on developing hydraulic models and strategic planning for water supply system improvements. My personal answer is definitely yes. So I
Is
don't
the
know what
previous
others think.
experience required?
Well, yeah, we can ask him, but
Because, yeah, of course we're interested.
yeah, he says that we will be in touch
I
about
agree.
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sure. You're welcome. Does anyone else has anything else to add? Thank you, Federico, for sharing once again the link for the blog, where people can find the survey link as well. If that's all, I would like to thank you all for attending this webinar. We'll stay in touch, and we hope that the situation will improve in the coming years. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Hvala vama. Svako dobro.
Doviđenja.
Ćao, vidimo se. Ako bude.